Hello, welcome to Lemon Studios, where we talk anything and everything in entertainment. I'm, of course, the Lemon himself, Zeke Lamone, and this is my review for Monday Night Raw of October 7th, 2024. But before we get into that, let's get the house clean out of the way, shall we? I'm just leave a like, comment below, let me know your thoughts on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw, and of course, hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, all that out of the way, let's get into the review, shall we? So, the very first Monday Night Raw, that is 2 hours, without, I want to say, 13 years. And my biggest takeaway coming out of this episode was that it's going to be an adjustment period. Not just for WWE, but I think for us as an audience, because what Triple H has done so well with that 3 hours is that the wrestling has been really expanded. We'll have 3 matches that go over 15 minutes. Hell, even sometimes we'll have 3 matches that go over 20 minutes, and the match quality has been great. And we've also been doing great with, really letting these storylines breathe. Having a moment to just, have that space in between. Like, the promos aren't going super fast like they do on SmackDown sometimes. Now that's gone. And, it was really adamant during, the IC title match and, the 10-woman tag, where I think there was more women in the match than how long the match went on for. Now, let's just be completely honest. Let's call a spade a spade. It probably would have been the same way if it was 3 hours, but it's still very adamant. And I just think it's going to be an adjustment period, especially with them building these storylines where all of them really are nailing it out of the park, that everyone really felt underutilized in some way, shape, or form. It was kind of like watching Avengers Infinity War, where, hey, the movie's good, but the characters that we have are very underutilized. And that's just really how I felt throughout all of it. I also really think it felt like a speed run in some cases. I mean, the whole opening promo with Punk coming out to talk and teasing that he might retire. He's just being written off TV, which is good. We need to sell the Hell in a Cell. Not just within the match itself and building up to the match, but after the match. I'm glad we did not have Drew on this show whatsoever because he lost. In fact, I honestly wouldn't mind if Punk just wasn't on it. And he was like, okay, yeah, no, he's injured. And he won't be back for a little bit. I don't think we need to tease the retirement angle. Now, obviously, they wanted Punk out there so we can start teasing Rollins versus Punk as well. And I think Rollins may be turning heel pretty soon, which it might be time. It might be time for him to turn heel because when Jey Uso also comes out and they have a little bit of a moment, I'm just like, that's weird. I thought they were pretty cool now, but maybe that is now over because Rollins is about to turn heel. He did talk about how, hey, Rhodes is teaming up with Roman. He doesn't really like that, and he's kind of happy that Kevin Owens jumped him. I also really like how we did the whole Kevin Owens thing, too, where, there were no cameras. They relied on social media to catch the attack, and therefore they could treat it as, hey, we are dealing with this internally, to really bring an kayfabe back. I really do feel like, and, anytime that someone wanted to talk about it, because Seth Rollins went, I can't really bring up Kevin Owens, and then also Wade Barrett wanted to talk about it, and Joe had to be like, nope, we're not going to talk about it because they will be dealing with it internally. But anyway, back to the whole structure of the show, where it just really felt like a speed run, with how many people were just cutting people off within their promos. Rollins going to cut out Punk, that makes sense. Jey Uso and Rollins didn't really make sense to me, but I guess that's a little tidbit for later on with the show. Matches, overall, we're not able to really hit second gear. Again, the IC title match and the 10-woman tag. Now, a couple of the matches did get some time to cook, like the good old-fashioned Donnybrook. Very, very fun match indeed. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. I really like the spot where, Sheamus jumped off the barrels into the tables. And Sheamus got the win. I do think Pete Dunne probably needed the win more, especially, when they had Sheamus tied behind. Look, granted, this makes Sheamus look really, really badass. And I was like, man, Sheamus, you're so cool. But at the same time, I was like, man, we kind of killed Pete Dunne a little bit, didn't we? But maybe, once, what's his face? Tyler Bate gets back and he's healthy, he can go back into the tag team division, and that Pete Dunne was just there to really elevate Sheamus a little bit more, which I don't know if Sheamus necessarily needed, but still, the Donnybrook match was fun, and also, of course, the World Heavyweight Championship match had tons of times. These two, Sami Zayn and Gunther, had some amazing chemistry. I really thought they would do it. I was kind of hoping they would do it too, where Goldberg comes out to cost Gunther the title, and Sami Zayn wins. I just wanted it for the chaos. And also, when we do this fighting spirit angle, now, there is one spot in particular that has already started some discourse online. It's not as big as I thought it would be. I thought it would be a much bigger discourse, and that is the kick out at one spot. When it's done effectively and you use it sparingly, it's a great spot. I think it was a great spot within this match as well. You know, some other places like AEW. I am a fan of AEW, by the way. They overuse it sometimes where, you know, the kick out one spot doesn't really mean that much to me anymore when I am watching AEW. However, when I was watching on Monday Night Raw and then that spot happened, it caught me off guard and it sunk me in and actually got me to buy in that Sami Zayn might win just in general and not by, you know, help from Goldberg. So within that, I really like the spot of it and I really like the match overall. But again, overall, I just think it's going to be a case of a minor adjustments while we're going through these next 2 weeks where we could just really solidify where each superstar goes and when do we start using these storylines and when we implement them, because there was no Judgment Day whatsoever. Rhea Ripley showed up and we did have the backstage segment with Liv Morgan, Raquel, and Dominic. Now, they are filming both back-to-back, so maybe that was all by design. But yeah, no Damian Priest, no Finn Balor, and we barely got Liv, Dom, Raquel, and Rhea. And it does look like Rhea and Liv is going to continue on. Again, I don't necessarily need the feud to end. I just need it to be on pause for a little bit. Now, I know Liv is facing Nia at Crown Jewel. Cool. It's good. I need more than a month break. to me, personally, I want some other challengers. Maybe Rhea faces Raquel for a little bit before she goes back to Liv. Where again, we just have the storyline of it's about who's the better woman. It's not about, hey, you took my man and this goddamn revenge tour that I am just over. I'm just over Liv Morgan talking about this revenge tour, which is probably by design, right? Because she is a heel and she, as a person with her character, wants me to boo her. That makes me want to boo her. But I'm just ready for the story to get to second gear. So maybe it's just a little more longer of a pause. I don't need this story to continue on right now. And once, you know, they do go back to this program between Liv and Rhea, which I do think has the potential to be a great feud, it just needs to be about the title and who is the better woman. I do not need everything else added to it. I was in the beginning, but I am like slowly over it now at this point. I'm also really intrigued with the Miz stuff. I know everyone hates the Miz and they hate Karrion Kross. I don't understand why. I think they're both pretty good talents, and I'm really invested to see once Miz beats R-Truth next week that, hey, the Wyatts are coming after them, and we have Miz in the Final Testament versus the Wyatts. I think that could be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, overall, a good episode of Monday Night Raw. Was it the quality that we have come to know and love? No, and I think it's going to be a little bit before we get back to that. Because again, the 2 hours now is going to be the adjustment as to where they had that whole extra hour to sprinkle some other stuff in. I think maybe a cut back on the video packages. Now, I do know the video packages really help with the new viewers because, you know, every week someone brand new is going to watch who is not like you and me, who really watches the product every single week. But I do think a cutback on that may help too. But you know what also really be a big help on this 2 hours where you can probably sprinkle in some more time? Don't show every freaking person walk into the building. I'm over it. I get it. It's a good plot device to get you a whole rundown of the whole entire show of where everyone is going to be. Because at the start of your show, you should have a good idea of how the whole 2 or 3 hours, depending on what era you're in, on how the show is going to go. I don't need it every week. If anything, do it for the main event. I don't need to see every person come in. Maybe we can see every person come in for the PLE, but even then, that's pushing it. It's just a bit that I'm over at this point. But yeah, overall, I call this a good first 2 hours. So, I mean, it was really nice. You know, it got to 8:30 and Sami Zayn was coming out, and then it was 9 o'clock. And I was like, okay, all right, this is weird. No wrestling on a Monday at 9 o'clock hour. But yeah, I give it a positive review. I am looking forward to next week. I'm just curious to see how these continue the sprinkle in and really fix it up a little bit. Again, it's just going to be an adjustment period moving forward. But yeah, what did y'all think about it? Comment below, let me know. Leave a like if you made it this far. I do greatly appreciate it. And hit that subscribe button as I am trying to grow into my YouTube career. We have a lot of stuff heading your way here pretty soon, so hit that subscribe button. Until next time, guys, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios.